We continue reading from Sri Isopanishad, mantra 16. I'll just read the mantra again. We've already read a part of the purport. We read the mantra and a part of the purport yesterday. I'll just read the mantra. Pushan ekarshe yamasurya prajapatya vyuha rasmin samuha tejo yatte rupam kalyana tamam tatte pashyami yo asav aso purushah soham asmi. O my Lord, O primeval philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulating principle, destination of the pure devotees, well-wisher of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal, supreme personality of Godhead, like unto the sun, as am I. So this is mantra 16, and we are continuing to read from the purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord fully maintains his unalloyed devotees, and he guides them progressively on the path toward devotional perfection. So the Lord, he fully maintains his pure devotees and guides them progressively on the path toward devotional perfection. So once we take shelter of the Lord, we should be confident of his protection. We should not fear. Krishna is there, so we should have that faith in him. Avishya Rakshibe Krishna. That Krishna will protect me. He will guide me towards perfection. As the leader of his devotees, he ultimately awards the desired results of devotional service by giving himself to them. So what does he do to a devotee? What does he give the devotee? He gives himself. He gives himself to the devotee. Because he said, I don't have anything else to repay you. I can't repay you by giving you something. I am giving you myself. The devotees of the Lord see the Lord eye to eye by his causeless mercy. Thus, the Lord helps his devotees reach the supermost spiritual planet, Golok Vrindavan. So here Krishna is giving his guarantee. He's giving his that you surrender to me, you engage in devotional service to me, and what will you get? Like, we always want to know what's the result. If I do something, what am I gonna get, right? We always want to know that. Otherwise, we are not interested to do anything. So now, what is the result if we become devotees of the Lord? We are being fully maintained by him. He fully maintains his devotees. Then guides. If we become devotees, then Krishna will guide us towards devotional service. Then finally, when we are engaging in devotional service, what does he do? He gives himself to the devotee. Then he brings us to his planet, spiritual planet, the supermost spiritual planet. So the highest spiritual planet, Golok Vrindavan. Being the creator, he can bestow all necessary qualifications upon his devotees so that they can ultimately reach him. So he's the creator. If he desires, he can bestow all qualifications on us. He can bestow his qualification on anyone. Why? Because he is the origin of everyone and each of us. So the Lord is the cause of all causes. In other words, since there is nothing that caused him, he is the original cause. Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the cause of all causes. In our material world, we see, oh, why did this happen? Because of this thing, because. Then when we come, the original cause, we will come to Krishna. There is no other cause for Krishna. He's the origin of all causes. There's nothing that caused him. It's not that he exists because of something. No, he's the Supreme Lord. He's the origin. Consequently, he enjoys his own self by manifesting his own internal potency. The external potency is not exactly manifested by him, For he expands himself as the Purushas, and it is in these forms that he maintains the features of the material manifestation. So Krishna, by his internal potency, is always in bliss. His spiritual energy, his internal energy is always enjoying in that. And how is he creating the material world? First, he expands as the Purusha avatars. He does not personally create. He expands first. First, he expands as the Purusha avatars. Then, with this Purusha avatars, he manages the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the material world. Who are the Purusha avatars? They are the Mahavishnu, the Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and the Shirodakshai Vishnu, who are creating, maintaining, and annihilating all this entire material manifestation. So the external, by such expansions, he creates, maintains, and annihilates the cosmic manifestation. So Krishna personally, he himself, personally, he's in Golok Vrindavan, in the spiritual planet, supermost spiritual planet. And how does he create and maintain this material manifestation? By his expansions as the Vishnu, the Purusha avatar, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Mahavishnu, and Shirodakshai Vishnu. The living entities are also differentiated expansions of the Lord's self. And because some of them desire to be lords and imitate the Supreme Lord, he allows them to enter into the cosmic creation with the option to fully utilize their propensity to lord it over nature. So now is given what is our position. Where are we? Why do we exist? Who are we? We are differentiated expansions. We are separated expansions of Krishna. We are not his personal expansion. The Purusha avatars, for example, are his personal expansion. That's why they are called Vishnu Tattva. We are also expansions of Krishna, because Krishna is the cause of everything and everyone. Everything and everyone is coming from Krishna. So we are also coming from Krishna. We are also expansions of Krishna, but we are not the personal expansions. We are not Vishnu Tattva. We are Jiva Tattva. We are differentiated expansions. We are Jivas. And because Krishna is the Lord of all the Lords, he's the Supreme Lord, we also have this desire to lord it over material nature. Krishna has all the qualities in unlimited quantity. And because we are expansions of Krishna, we also have his qualities, 78% of his qualities in the most perfected stage, but in very minute quantities, very minute. So because we have this desire to lord it over material nature, that I'm the controller, I'm independent, why should I listen to anyone? Why should I listen to Krishna? So that we can utilize our independence, we can utilize our this desire to control, to own. He allows us to come here in this material world. So many people ask, why did the Lord create the material world? He created the material world because of us, because it is our desire to enjoy separate from him. It is our desire to imitate him. We cannot imitate him in the spiritual world. So he creates this material world to allow us to imitate. For example, if mother is making lunch and then the daughter comes and says, I want to cook. But the mother knows the daughter is so tiny, she does not have the capability to cook. So she gives her some toys. She gives her a toy kitchen set and she tells her, okay, you play with this. And the daughter thinks she's really cooking because she's imitating the mother's actions. The real cooking is done by the mother. The daughter is just imitating. And when the food is being eaten, the daughter thinks, I've made it. But who is the one? It's Krishna. He lets us feel that we are the controllers. That is the purpose of this material world. And also for us to realize that, oh, this is not my true position. This is not my true home. My position is I have an eternal loving relationship with Krishna. So because of the presence of his parts and parcels, the living entities, the entire phenomenal world is stirred into action and reaction. So this material world is actually dead. It's dark and it's dead. It's just dead matter. Earth, water, air, fire, ether, different combinations of these elements, all the things that we are so attracted to, they're just different combinations of these elements. Even our bodies, we have the senses, we have the working senses, but all this is just dead matter. Now, why is there action and reaction? Is because the soul is inside the bodies. Inside the bodies of the human beings, or inside the bodies of trees or plants or animals or bird or fish, whatever we see living, that is because of the presence of the soul. Thus, the living entities are given full facilities to lord it over material nature, but the ultimate controller is the Lord himself in his plenary feature as Paramatma, the super soul, who is one of the Purushas. So we are given the facility that we want to pretend that we are the controller, enjoyer, and the owner. So by this material energy, by this material world, we are given this facility to experience. That's what we are trying to experience here, to be the controllers. So, but the ultimate control is the Lord himself. Is Krishna himself. And how is he controlling this material world? Is in his Paramatma feature. The Paramatma feature, the super soul. The super soul is inside every atom of this universe. He's in each and every one's heart. And this super soul feature is one of the Purusha avatar, the Kshirodaksha Vishnu. The Kshirodaksha Vishnu. He's one of the expansions of Krishna. So there is a gulf of difference between the living entity Atma and the controlling Lord Paramatma, the soul and the super soul. So we are the Atma and there is Paramatma. So we are the living entity and the Paramatma is the controlling Lord. So there is a difference. There's a difference between the soul and the super soul. Paramatma is the controller and the Atma is the controlled. Therefore, they are in different categories. Because the Paramatma fully cooperates with the Atma, he is known as the constant companion of the living being. So why our category is different? Because we are the controlled and Paramatma is the controller. But we might say, no, I am the controller, but we can try. That's what we are trying in this material world. And in spite of repeatedly trying, we fail in our attempts. Sure, we have control, but our control is very tiny. Sure, we do have, but we can't control birth, death, old age, and disease. We are forced to accept these laws. No one wants to die. We'll be forced out of this body. We don't want to get sick. We are forced to get sick. We don't want to get old, but we are forced to get old. Then how are we the controller? We are being controlled. And who's the controller? He is the Paramatma. Paramatma. And so therefore the categories are different. That's how we understand there is a difference between us, the Jiva, the soul, and the super soul, the Paramatma. And the Paramatma, why is he known as the constant companion? Because he's always accompanying us. We take on different bodies in different species of life. We give one body based on our desire and work that we have done in this life. We will take up another body in the future and another body. And similarly, we have had many bodies in the past. And in each of the bodies, the Paramatma always accompanies with us. He always is with us. And that's the reason he is called our constant companion. The all-pervading feature of the Lord, which exists in all circumstances of waking and sleeping, as well as in potential states, and from which the Jiva Shakti, living force, is generated as both conditioned and liberated souls, is known as Brahman. So, what is Brahman? Is the all-pervading feature of the Lord, the light which is spread everywhere. It exists. It eternally exists, whether one is sleeping or waking or walking. In the potential, it's going to sleep or it's about to wake up. The Brahman always exists. And then this Brahman is the source and from which we, the Jiva Shakti, are generated, conditioned and liberated souls. So why are we called conditioned? Because we are here in the material world. Who are the liberated souls? Those who are in the spiritual world. They are called liberated. They are known as liberated. We are called conditioned because we are conditioned to thinking we are the body. And where's the origin coming from? Origin of both the conditioned and liberated soul is Brahman. The Brahman, all-pervading feature of the Lord. Since the Lord is the origin of both Paramatma and Brahman, he is the origin of all living entities and all else that exists. So now we are saying, okay, we, the Jiva Shakti, the soul, the Atma, where are we coming from? We are coming from the Brahman. Whether we are in the material world or spiritual, we are liberated, doesn't matter, but we are coming from Brahman. Now, where is the Brahman coming from? That Brahman and the Paramatma. We just heard the Paramatma also. The Paramatma is always with the soul. So the Brahman and Paramatma are both coming from the Lord. They are both coming from the Lord. So because they are both coming from the Lord, we, living entities, are also coming from the Lord. So he's the origin of everything and everyone. Everything and everyone. The origin is Krishna. One who knows this engages himself at once in devotional service of the Lord. So once one understands that Krishna is the origin of all living entities, of everything, there is no one beyond Krishna, there is nothing beyond Krishna. Then once one understands this, one who knows this, what does he do? He engages himself in devotional service. Such a pure and fully cognizant devotee of the Lord is fully attached to him in heart and soul. And whenever such a devotee assembles with similar devotees, they have no engagement but the glorification of the Lord's transcendental activities. So a person, once the Jivatma, once one's soul realizes, oh, what's my origin? Oh, my origin is the Lord. Oh, then what I have to do? I have to engage in devotional service. He automatically engages in devotional service, which begins by hearing and chanting. Begins by hearing and chanting. And then once one is reaches the, like pure devotional service, fully cognizant, fully understands his position, then he's fully attached to the Lord in heart and soul. That is the position of each living entity. Each living entity. We are all actually pure, eternal souls, and each of us have a relationship with Krishna. And then when such devotees, when they meet with each other, what do they do? What do they do? They're speaking about the Lord's activities, transcendental activities. The Lord's activities are not like our activities. You know, the Krishna's activities are not like our activities, that Krishna runs away from the battlefield and he's called Ranchor, and there is a temple and he's being worshipped as Ranchor. There's so many warriors who run away from battle and they are called cowards and they are, condemned in history, but they're never glorified. But Krishna, because he's the Lord, his activities are transcendental. They're glorified, they're temples made. There's so many thieves and they are all punished when they rob something. But when Krishna steals the butter, then he's glorified as Makhancho. Till today, 5,000 years later, we're singing his glories. Oh, Krishna stole the butter. And he's worshipped as Makhancho. So Krishna's activities are transcendental. They are not like our mundane activities. We cannot compare them. So those who are not as perfect as the pure devotees, namely those who have realized only the Brahman or Paramatma features of the Lord, cannot appreciate the activities of the perfect devotees. So if someone's realization of the absolute truth is partial, their realization of the absolute truth is limited only maybe up to the Brahman or the Paramatma feature. They have not yet realized the personal feature of the Lord, then they cannot appreciate the activities of the perfect devotee. Why? Because they will say, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? But because they have not realized the Lord, that's the reason they are not able to understand why a devotee is doing what he's doing. Why is the devotee always hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord? He's glorifying, worshiping the Lord. So it's because they've not perfectly understood the absolute truth. So the Lord always helps the pure devotees by imparting necessary knowledge within their hearts, and thus, out of his special favor, he dissipates all the darkness of ignorance. Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita, that I, sitting in the heart of the devotee, I, with the shining lamp of knowledge, clear out the darkness of ignorance. So because Krishna is there in our heart, he's there in our heart. He knows our intention. And the pure devotees, what does Krishna do to them? He gives them the necessary knowledge. He gives them the knowledge by his mercy. And he takes away all the ignorance. Ignorance is compared to darkness and knowledge is compared to shining light. So Krishna, it's by Krishna, out of his mercy, because he's the Paramatma in the heart. He's the one who takes away the ignorance and gives the knowledge within the heart. Within the heart. The speculative philosophers and yogis cannot imagine this because they more or less depend on their own strength. So what happens? The devotees, they are always dependent on the mercy of the Lord. They know that the Lord will help me. I just will do what is required for me to do. I will engage in bhakti, but I am dependent on the mercy of the Lord to give me the necessary knowledge, to give me the devotion. I can just do what I'm asked to do, but I'm dependent on the Lord to give me knowledge, to take away my ignorance. But the philosophers, the speculative philosopher and yogi, they cannot understand this. Why? Because they depend on their own strength. They say, I can do it by my own strength. I do not want Krishna's favor. As stated in the Katha Upanishad 1:2:23, the Lord can be known only by those whom he favors and not by anyone else. So this is the difference between the ascending and the descending process. The ascending process is that I want to depend on my own strength to understand the absolute truth. That is the ascending process. But how much strength do we have? We are so limited. Our senses are so imperfect. We commit mistakes and we are in illusion. So when we are depending on our strength, our knowledge will be also faulty. because of all these defects that we already have. And that's why it's called speculative philosophers. That's why it's not perfect. But what's the descending process? Descending is it's coming from Krishna. The knowledge is coming from Krishna. The mercy is coming from Krishna. And then how is it reaching us? Through the parampara system, through the disciplic succession, through the acharyas. The mercy is coming to us, the knowledge is coming to us. We just have to hear it and we have to accept it. That's all. We just have to hear. By hearing, we are getting knowledge. So, and the Kathapanishad says that the Lord can be known only by whom he favors and not by anyone else. So it is just by the mercy of the Lord that one can know him. We cannot demand Krishna, I want to know you. We cannot force Krishna, Krishna, you have to show yourself to me. Krishna is independent. He's like, I don't want to. I don't need to. He sees the heart. Same like us. Same like us. Somebody who does not really want to know us, but they just want to command us, demand us, then we are like, I'm sorry, but I will be nice to you, yeah, but I will not reveal to you my innermost secrets. I'm not gonna reveal my heart to you. Sure, I will respect you, I'll be courteous to you, sure, but I'm not gonna really tell you about my feelings. So Lord can be known only by whom he favors. And by engaging in bhakti, we are trying to attract his favor. We are trying to attract his favor. And that's the reason we are following the disciplic succession. We just heard in Bhagavatam that speaking the prayers of the devotees. Why speaking the prayers of the acharyas is important? Because they help us to attract the favor of the Lord. And only by the Lord's favor can we be able to know him. Such special favors are bestowed upon his pure devotees only. So because the pure devotees know the Lord, they know how to attract the favor of the Lord. If we follow them, if we recite their prayers, we follow them, not imitate, but follow their instructions, then we are also have a chance to attract the favor of the Lord. Sri Isopanishad thus points to the favor of the Lord, which is beyond the purview of the Brahma Jyoti. So Sri Isopanishad is telling us that seek the favor of the Lord. This is beyond the Brahma Jyoti, is beyond the Brahman effulgence. And that is that the mercy of the Lord, his most merciful aspect. His compassion, his love, his favor. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Any comments or questions?
No, all clear.
Yes, we'll stop here for today. Thank you so much for listening and thank you for joining in. Shri Isopanishad ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki